That kind of nerd. Let's start the show with comics, movies, and technology. Here we go, bringing you the segments that you're looking for, like Cape Talk, Screen to Stream, Tech Perspective, and more. Cast this nerd degree and the blockbuster. Welcome to the club, 'cause you're that kind of nerd.
Welcome, everyone, to That Kind of Nerds podcast, a show that tells you what is going on in the nerdy world. I am CJ Mellon, joined by two wonderful human beings, Joshua Burns and Brian Thornton.
What up?
I have no idea what we're talking about today, so enjoy that.
A bunch of stuff in an order that would surprise you.
That's about
It's all going to surprise me because I have no idea what's going on today. I'm just here. I'm good. I'm happy to hear. I'm happy to be here, Bob. Like, really excited. Waited in line for 10 hours just to, guess the price of soup.
This is an opportunity to remind you to follow us on social media. I made a TikTok before we recorded, letting you know that we are not going to be talking about the Snyder Cut this episode, and it's my fault. It's my Josh.
Did you make a TikTok saying that we're not going to talk about the Snyder Cut?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
People are seeing your face on TikTok right now?
And on Instagram and Facebook. And
I don't
Twitter.
want that to be the first thing they see.
It's going to be there. This is a good time to remember to follow us on social media, because I did release a TikTok saying that we are not going to be talking about the Snyder Cut this week. And that is my fault. Josh and Brian have watched the movie. And of course, me, being who I am, I haven't done it yet. Because I did not watch the Snyder Cut, I wanted to make it up to you, and we will be talking about the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier tonight. But first, I want to talk about my favorite hobby, where I go around the internet, I find the weird, and I find the obscure, and then I ask these two gentlemen here for their tech perspective. Gentlemen, I want you to close your eyes for a second. I want you to imagine it's 2015. It's June. Ted 2 has just hit theaters. Melissa McCarthy is running around with the movie Spy. Insidious 3 is now out in theaters. And
why are you picking the worst things about 2015?
I'm picking about June. June wasn't that great. But 3 intrepid podcasters sat down in 2015 and talked about the video game Hall of Fames. And Josh hated,
oh, was that us?
Most of it.
It was us. It was us.
Sure. It was
June of 2015?
Episode 9 of this podcast. Episode 9.
It's like CJ's favorite episode, by the way.
It's called In Defense of Pong, right? Because
I vaguely remember this.
Right. So I was like,
I'm pretty sure I was recording in a friend's apartment still.
I believe that is I believe that is true. Pre-palatial estate.
Pre-palatial estate.
So,
yeah. Gross.
I don't bring this up out of nothing. It is time to talk about the 2021 finalists for the Video Game World Hall of Fame. Excuse me.
Wait. Did we talk about this like 2016, 17, 18, 19, and 20?
I don't believe so, but the 2021 ones are now out, and I wanted to hear Josh's opinion on some of these
I think
games.
you just heard it.
Okay.
So there are a ton of familiar games in this year's selection, including Animal Crossing.
Which one?
The original, OG.
Okay.
What?
Animal Crossing.
That's not...
Original Gangster. That's what OG stands for,
I know what that... But what is, is Animal Crossing a game that exists outside of, app? Like the app?
Yes,
no,
it's a
Nintendo game.
It's a Nintendo game.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yes, you live on an island and you pay a raccoon rent, and
then I won't shit on it because it's a Nintendo game. It's
the
fine.
original Call of Duty, Farmville.
Okay. No,
I think we can all agree. Heap of garbage.
Not a game.
Yep,
that's not a game.
FIFA.
It's a Facebook game.
It's a Facebook game. Does not count.
That's not a game.
Does not count. FIFA International Soccer.
Yeah.
Guitar Hero.
Not a game.
Guitar Hero is definitely a game.
Not a game.
No, it's absolutely a game.
It's Simon Says.
So is a lot of games.
Which would be...
No,
it's a game.
It's not. It's Simon Says.
It requires reaction time and timed button pushes. That's what Mario is.
Simon Says. Mario is not Simon Says.
Is Simon Says not a game? What is Simon Says then?
Simon Says is a game, by the way.
Is it a toy?
No, it's not a console game. Yeah, it's a toy. It's a toy. It's a Bop It. Guitar Hero is a Bop It.
But Guitar Hero is a console game. There we go. Mattel Football. Didn't even know that was a thing. The original Microsoft Flight Simulator.
You know that Mattel Football's a game, but it's not a game. It's not a game like a gaming system game. It's a fucking handheld bippity boppity.
Okay. That one.
It's like the Tiger
games.
Bip,
okay.
Bip, bip.
Which I saw those for sale again in Target, and I so wanted to get it.
Yeah, too expensive. They used to be $5. Now they're $50. How's that possible?
Yeah.
They're doing it. Microsoft Simulator.
The hell is Microsoft Simulator?
Microsoft Flight Simulator.
I was about to say, are we going to be in Bill Gates' garage?
I don't know what this game is. It's called Pole Position, and it just sounds dirty.
Shut up. You don't know what pole position is.
I don't know what pole position is.
Holy shit. It's like the original racing game. Like, you don't know what pole position is, but fucking Animal Crossing is like, you're fully aware of all the ins and outs of that.
Well, I mean, the difference is there's like 6 Animal Crossing games. When's the latest sequel to Pole Position coming out,
Pole Position was
Josh?
like the original racing game. It was.
When's the next sequel coming out for Pole Position,
It's
Josh?
never gonna.
Exactly.
It's the
That's
original. It gave birth to all the other racing games.
I would not say it gave birth.
It did. It was impregnated and gave birth.
Then, really personal favorite, Portal. The original Portal gets mentioned in the Video Game Hall of Fame. The original StarCraft, Tron, and where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
In Belize. We know she's in Belize. She's always in Belize. Which is likely where everybody would be if you had a choice. You'd be in Belize.
So those are the nominees for 2021. And now, Brian, you had asked, rightfully so, have we ever talked about the previous years? No, we haven't. Just to give you some context, here are the games that were inducted last year into the Hall of Fame. Minecraft.
Josh, you're getting 5 years all downloaded at once. Here you go. Just get it all at once.
No. Just getting 2020. Just getting 2020. You're getting Minecraft, Bejeweled, Centipede, and King's Quest.
The frack is King's Quest?
Bejeweled is an app game. That is not a game.
It was probably on the computer first. They're probably talking about the first Bejeweled. PC,
Bejeweled was originally on the PC.
PC game
Before it became an app.
King's Quest sounds like a like one of the first apps. I don't know what it is. So Thursday, May 6th at 10:30, they will pick the final candidates being entered into there. I, for one,
have to wait a month and a half to know.
I, for one, think that Portal deserves this and is slightly overdue. I think Portal
I, for one, hope
game.
that Pole Position gets edged out by Farm Simulator.
I cannot believe Farm Simulator?
Farmville, whatever the frack it is.
Farm Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight?
Farming Microsoft's Flight Simulator. Like, whatever the heck it is, I just want Pole Position to get edged out.
I'm looking at Pole Position, but my internet search browser is like, do you want all results? I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I want all those results, if you know what I mean.
Do I need to write video game? Is that what I need to write video game after that?
I would most certainly write video game after that.
Where did it come out? Where was Pole Position from? Is it an Atari game? It's got to be Atari, right?
That sounds like a Nintendo game.
No, here it is. 1982, licensed to Atari.
I mean, it also sounds like a game that you might play on a Tuesday night if you catch my drift.
Hey.
It's not.
It is a arcade racing video game that was released by Namco in 1982 and licensed to the Atari.
Right.
Good old Namco.
Namco. We make games that, you kind of remember, but then you wish that they weren't there, but they're still around. Like Pac-Man.
It's shocking to me that you guys don't even know the term pole position. Well,
I don't follow Formula One racing, right?
A term comes from horse racing.
Okay, well, I obviously don't race horses.
So, Josh, just assume if there's any sort of race involved. I do not know anything of it.
It seems to me like if you're an adult, you should know.
I should know all about horse racing?
No, you should know like a common
Josh,
term.
we just went through this. I didn't even know I had to clean my dishwasher until 10 minutes ago.
But it'd be like like the guy in first place. He's in the pole position, right? He's the guy in the first row on the inside lane. It's a pretty common term.
I have never heard that term used in any context ever.
Okay.
Use it in a sentence that doesn't have to do with sports.
You can use it in any sentence where people are arranged in order.
Use it in a sentence so that I can understand. Arrange us in order, Josh.
arrange us in order.
Here are 3 people. Obviously, I'm last.
In order of people you love, who is in the pole position?
Laura.
I see. I don't believe that.
She is. She absolutely is. She's in the pole position, right? Because she's first position inside lane.
I mean, I'm sure she is, but use it in a sentence.
I'm sure she is in the pole position. You do have children. I'm assuming that she knows the pole position.
That is my wife that you're talking about.
I don't believe this is a term. I don't even think it's a thing. I think you made it up. I think you and Namco got together and built this huge conspiracy just to fuck with me.
Consistently shocked at your man-childness.
I'm looking at the picture in the article. I can't even find pole position. Is it that little white, like cartridge?
What are you talking?
Thing?
It's a 2-lane road, and you're racing cars.
Yes. Look at the show notes.
Predecessor to Rad Racer. You remember Rad Racer, right?
I remember Rad Racer.
Of course I
do.
That was the birth of racing games. Rad Racer.
Listen, Rad Racer looks exactly like Pole Position. Pole Position was the arcade game.
I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. I think Pole Position is a different thing. I'm just saying.
I'm not that much older.
Out of everything, yeah, sure, okay, all right. This is clearly the generation gap rearing its ugly head on our podcast. Once again,
absolutely.
Once again, the generation
Josh
gap
is so much older that he understands the pole position. It has nothing to do with my lack of racing knowledge.
I feel like it's the Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back with the "I am the Clit Commander" is what I feel like is happening right now.
Because you're sitting here screaming about pole position
completely
like
unnecessarily. It's not right.
I don't even think pole position's a real thing still. You have yet to convince me.
It's being recognized as one of the video games to be inducted into the video game Hall of Fame.
I think it's a massive joke, and everybody's going to have a good laugh when it gets inducted.
I can't believe we passed it off as a real thing.
Look what we did.
Like, I think this is one of those, like, creepypastas.
What big gaming doesn't want you to know, pole position, it's not even real. It's just a front for in-app purchases through EA Markets.
It's just like the Berenstain Bear thing. You know the Berenstain Bear thing where everyone thought it was spelled one way, but it never was spelled that way. This is pole position.
The Berenstain?
Yes. The Bearstains, yes. How are you going to segue to this new topic, CJ?
I don't know. That's the show, I guess. I guess we'll just release that as its own.
Backing it in.
15 minutes of pole position.
We'll be back in 15 minutes after this break. And we're back.
That's a terrible segue. You can really tell CJ had no idea where to go with that. You could tell CJ had a totally legit segue in mind when he introduced the topic, and then pole position came up, and it just completely went off the rails.
Let me pole position into the next topic. Alrighty. Well, I enjoyed that. I have no segue for this, so I'm just segueing with now we're going to talk about movies in a segment that we call Screen to Stream. I have no segue for this. We got a official trailer for the Zack Snyder Netflix movie Army of the Dead. So I know this is an instant pass from Joshua Burns over there because zombies. The first comment on the YouTube channel for this trailer, I think, really kind of struck a chord for me, and this person, I think, gets me on a different level. It's World War Z plus Suicide Squad plus Zack Snyder equals Dead Rising movie, and I'm like, this is a pretty accurate representation of what the hell we're seeing.
Does everybody really actually understand? Like, everybody does know that he made Dawn of the Dead, right?
Yes,
that was like his big thing.
Yes, that they because they took the opportunity to tell me that in the trailer.
Yeah, I mean they put that in the most favorable spot so that you would see it. It was in the pole position of the trailer. So I haven't seen his version of Dawn of the Dead. I hear it's very good. This looks pretty good.
I do Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all I have. All right.
I do like what I see. But I think Zack Snyder movies have amazing trailers, and trailers are great in general. I'm a little worried because while I did like World War Z also wasn't like that awesome. So I am a little skeptical of mass horde zombie movies. So I mean, I'll give this a watch, but I will probably not be like, oh, Army of the Dead's out, I should probably watch this, because also this is a Netflix movie, right? And And
straight to streaming. You're not going to waste any money on it, just your time.
Right. And
you're saying because it's a Netflix movie, like your mileage may vary.
Correct. I think we've proven that. We've proven that.
I don't know that we've proven it, but yeah, I mean, I don't think we have any.
We watched another movie where people don't die on Netflix, starring Charlize Theron, and that it was all right.
I really like the Old Guard. If you're
the Old Guard was good. It was
that's what I'm saying. I really liked it.
It was a fine movie.
It was good.
Yes.
I didn't realize we were going to debate a movie from 6 months ago again.
It's not pole position in my list.
This
of
was
movies.
not in the pole position of my mind.
Right? Yeah.
I'm just listen. I first of all, I think they're two very different animals because you're talking about a movie that was funded and made by Netflix, and I don't know if that's the case with Army of the Dead. This might have been something that they acquired because no one's releasing movies in theaters right now, so Netflix is just scarfing all of these things up that were supposed to go to theaters.
The project was first announced in March of 2017 with Universal Studios and Warner Brothers Entertainment on board to co-produce. They had a different director, but in January of 2019, after lingering in developmental hell for years, Netflix acquired the distribution rights for the project from Warner Brothers with Zack Snyder directing. So that's when they put Zack Snyder in 2019.
It's produced by Universal. So it's not a Netflix-made movie. It's an acquired project that they're just throwing on their
They're just
service.
distributing it. All right. So
correct.
But it sounds like it wasn't because of COVID. It sounds like this movie was in developmental hell.
Netflix does this all the time, regardless of COVID or not.
The movie was never going to be great. I mean, regardless. It's got zombies in it.
Oh, that's no. You're in the minority of this.
No.
I mean, listen. I enjoy a good zombie movie. The key word is good. There can be very bad zombie movies.
Correct. Yes. Well, May 21st, 2021, we will know if this is a good or bad movie. And I don't know if you all know that Zack Snyder's pretty hot right now. So people are definitely
Zack Snyder guy so hot right now.
So hot right now. All right, so just two quick topics, but let's get to the main event of things, right? It's time to talk about the world of comics, how it's affecting TV, how it's affecting movies, but most of all, how is it affecting, Disney Plus and the whole world right now? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Cape Talk.
Cape Talk!
Falcon and the Winter Soldier first episode has premiered actually tonight, the day that we are recording this, or Thursday at 2 a.m. if you're a mad person like Josh and Brian are and they stay up and watch this stuff.
I didn't do that. I woke up early before work to watch it.
Me too.
You think I am crazy?
Yeah, I do. I think you're a little crazy.
I'm not going to stay up till 4 a.m. to watch it. That's why I didn't watch the freaking Snyder Cut when it dropped.
In the world of Cape Talk, we had a huge premiere today. We had Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which dropped on Disney Plus, and I think we should talk about it. I'm on record saying I was not crazy about the trailer. I thought the first show was fucking fantastic. Like, I really thought it was good. First impressions.
So, Josh.
Yeah.
Would you like that humble pie delivered via DoorDash?
I don't think I was very boisterous about it. Like,
I'm just saying. I'm on record as saying I thought you would enjoy this.
Yeah, and I did very much. I don't think I was over here going, it's shit. You're gonna think it's shit.
Oh no, this was not CJ Snyder level of disdain for it. No.
Okay, maybe not humble pie. Maybe not humble
and it
pie,
wasn't even like I wasn't even hedging my bets. I just said based on the trailer.
How would you like me to tell you I told you so? Would you like a little dance? Would you like it in a haiku?
I don't think this is an I told you so situation. No, this isn't.
Yeah, I don't think this is gotcha journalism.
No.
All right. Not yet. We'll see. We'll give it a couple more episodes. Before I say I told you so, we'll give it a couple more episodes.
No, I'm already in. I'm in. I'm bought in. I'm very interested. I'm a little angry, right? The end of the episode made me angry, but that's not first impressions.
Indeed. We'll talk about the end. I would love to hear your anger.
I just said I'm angry about it.
No, I would love to hear your position, your poll position on it. Right. Yes. But I think I need to give my first reaction, or just CJ. Yeah. Should you give your first?
I think I will go next. I think this laid a good foundation for the rest of the series to work off of. I think, again, just like with WandaVision, we're getting some backstory for some characters, and I really liked what they did, and the action sequences in this episode were really great. They've got a good show on their hands. I now, Brian, out of curiosity,
are you yielding the floor to me?
I yield the floor to you. Give me your first impressions of the first episode.
No, I highly enjoyed it. Typical first episode. All right, here's where these characters are. Here's what they're dealing with. Here's a little bit of backstory. Love the fact that we got a little bit of guilt and that storyline that's going on with Bucky. And like how he's working through that. I love more backstory on Sam and, what he's dealing with at home and, the fact that he disappeared for 5 years and now his family business is like going under and stuff like that. I love all of that. And then on top of that, obviously there's some sort of terrorist organization stuff happening that strong momentum moving in. I'm looking forward to when everything really starts to kick off in probably like episode 3 or 4, looking forward to when that starts like beginning in earnest.
I love they pose the question, don't you guys get paid like to be an Avenger? And Sam's like,
that scene with the fucking bank. I'm like, be less appropriate, guy. You know what? I think something that Brian said, specifically with Bucky, what the Avengers movies, all of the opening phases never addressed was that Steve didn't have anywhere to go after the fight, right? And there was somebody was talking about it on social media.
Floppy Straw Hat, that's who it was.
No, it's Straw Hat Goofy.
Oh, that guy. Yeah,
I follow him. Yeah. I follow him on TikTok, and I love him. I 90% of the time agree with him.
Yeah, so he goes back to Age of Ultron, right? And Cap tears apart that log, and everybody thinks he's just frustrated with Tony. And this guy, his name again for attribution is
Straw Hat Goofy,
says they're setting up Civil War, and yes, he's pissed off and he's arguing with Tony, but like the line is, so we all get to go home, and Steve doesn't have a home to go to. He's done nothing but go from fight to fight for 100 years, right? And that is exactly what Bucky's dealing with. He says it in when he's seeing his therapist, and finally, they're addressing that, right? And I think that in a very strong like juxtaposition to WandaVision, where everything was, very over the top, fictional, very, very pretend. This show is very, very real. They're dealing with some real life shit. Both characters separately dealing with some real stuff. So I think that the show did an amazing job of taking two characters who, throughout the entire movie series, even though we know their backstories, really lack depth. And in one episode, made them super likable. You're on their side. Like, you completely empathize with both. What a great job they did, the writing and the acting in this first episode.
And what I like too, just like you said, they really kind of took some of Steve's story, and which directly applies to Bucky, right? He's in the same situation of being frozen and thawed out and over 100 years old and not having any attachment to this world and no real home. But also the same thing with Sam, with his relationship with his family, of just wanting to be a small town, local hero, just trying to live a life, but also has this huge responsibility of being the Falcon, right? And having to live in both of those worlds and kind of dealing with that new responsibility and that new power. Because before, he was just a vet, right? He was just a guy who had served his country and was helping in the support system. And now here he is, being a huge icon in the community and a superhero. So they're both kind of living different paths of Steve Rogers' life. And then with that ending, I think really is a slap in the goddamn face to what those two guys are going through and the relationship that they had with Steve Rogers and the symbol of Captain America. I was floored by that ending. That really just, that got me revved up and ready to go for the next episode.
You think Steve's dead?
Doesn't matter.
No, I'm sure. I know it doesn't matter for this show, but do you think
I do. I think he's dead.
Okay. I was curious if Old Man Steve would show up just to like kind of give some words of wisdom.
Even if he's not, they won't do that. I don't think this show would do, as WandaVision kind of proved. I don't think it's about that, right? So I don't think they would do that even if Steve was alive. So and I agree to Josh's point. I don't think it really matters. I personally just think he passed.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm just curious.
So Josh, earlier you had said that you've shared from some frustrations at the end of the episode with the reveal of a new Captain America.
Yeah, I was angry. Fuck, not frustrated. Angry. Look, the episode after the pod race, the episode opens with the Smithsonian, tribute, the whole thing. And who's the guy supposed to be?
Which guy?
The guy that thanked Sam for making the right decision, doing the right thing, and turning in the shield.
Oh, I think he was a senator,
and then later introduced the new Captain America.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, first of all, doing the right thing and turning the shield over like it belongs to the government or the Smithsonian or what. First of all, he's thanking Sam for turning something over to not him, and that's supposed to be the right thing. I'm like, I don't fucking like this guy. Because that whole thing felt fucked up to me.
I think Marvel has proved if you know that person is a senator, they're probably not very good. I mean, the last senator that was prominently featured was a Hydra agent, and then they even had another Hydra agent senator in this episode.
But like to say that, and again, it's obviously it's a mistake that Sam is wrestling with, right? He wanted to do it, but doesn't feel worthy of Captain America, right? He just doesn't. He doesn't feel like he in any way matches up to Steve Rogers. Fine. But obviously Steve thinks he does. Thought he did. And the fact that you would just introduce, what's the fucking Plexi Man from The Flash, Elasti-Guy, whatever his name is.
Elongated Man. Thank you.
I don't
even think it's the same guy.
It's not the same guy, but tell me he doesn't look like Ralph Dibny. It looked like Ralph Dibny in a Captain America mask, and I'm
isn't like that Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell? Isn't that their son? It is. It's Wyatt Russell. So it's Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell's son.
Who is
the guy who plays? The guy who is the new Captain America.
The new Captain America.
All right, well, that's wonderful for him to be Kurt Russell's son. But not.
I mean, who wouldn't like to be Kurt Russell's son?
Absolutely. That didn't piss you off?
Oh, 1,000% did, right?
You're supposed to. That's the point.
I get it. I'm just saying, like, I felt like in my initial reaction was an irrational amount of anger.
And I think this is the thing, though, that, yes, I think you're right to be angry. I hated that politician for doing that fucking back alley deal, right? For guilting Sam. And I think Rhodey, who showed up, also was kind of disappointed that Sam was giving up that shield, right? I think.
Well, you don't have to think. He says it. He legit says, "Why didn't you do it?
Yeah.
Why didn't you take the shield?"
But and I know Sam thinks that he's not worthy of this, but I really think that by seeing that and seeing him clench his fist and really get pissed about it, I mean, truly, I think that proves that he is more attached to it than he believes, and he will definitely find a way to go like, well, listen, I thought I wasn't worthy, but this asshole sure isn't. And, go find your worth. My real question is, how the fuck does he get the shield later on? Because we see him throwing it around in all these previews. So can't wait for that episode where they pull a Nick Cage and get themselves a shield.
Just gonna jump him in an alley. Just yank the shield
and
off
I can do this all day. No, you can't. Boom! Knock him out and take the shield and go. I am really... When I saw Bucky hanging out with that gentleman in the bar, right?
Thought it was an old war buddy.
I thought so too.
That's what I thought.
I thought, old war buddy. Like, first off, looking good if he was a World War II vet. But okay, fine. Such as life.
Or like the son of an old war, right?
Or someone that was in his neighborhood. I thought it was that relationship. Yeah. And then when you put the two and two together to realize that was the father of the young man that he killed in Russia or somewhere. Oh man,
for no reason, just killed him.
Well, I mean, he was the Winter Soldier, so I mean, like he didn't have any control over it.
Agreed.
So
but
but you're right. Just killed him because there was a witness.
Because he was there. Yep. He was there, and at the time that he was killing other people.
Was so painful. And then when he's so uncomfortable on the date, right? Because again, he's 100. He doesn't he's
106.
106 doesn't really connect with this woman or any of her experiences at all. And he's uncomfortable with the fact that, he's wearing gloves because he has no arm. And then having him go to that house and seeing the little tribute to the son put up there was just heartbreaking. And I already felt bad to the guy for being a fish out of water and for not having a home and the interaction he had with his therapist. And then I'm losing my goddamn heart for Bucky Barnes going, you poor son of a bitch. Can someone give this man a hug, please? We were supposed to give that man a shield. Can we give that man a hug? And he talked about his time in Wakanda as being peaceful, and it really just
a little bit of peace. Finally, had a little bit of peace.
A little bit of peace in Wakanda, and just going, God damn, man, the simpler times, and this guy has to go into this world. I am just ready for the emotional arc that's going to take place during this show.
To Josh's point, I love the fact that we get to explore these things that we did, but we didn't get to explore as in depth because this is Steve's story, right? This is the man out of time story, man without a home, man without only thing he knows is
a soldier
war.
without a soldier without a fight,
soldier without a fight, and then added on top of that, like the thing that Bucky has that Steve never had was the immense amount of guilt, over things that he did, regardless of whether they were he was brainwashed. It doesn't matter to him. He still remembers killing that guy. He still remembers every single person that he pulled the trigger on. And like he's got 100 years of those memories and he's trying to atone. And it's the Captain America story meets the Black Widow story. Like you're never going to wipe that red out of your ledger.
And if you put more parallels to this, Steve Rogers had a list of fun things to do to catch up on life, right? To get a life and to embrace this time. And Bucky Barnes has a list of mistakes and regrets and things that he has to make amends for.
That's a good parallel. I hadn't thought about that, about what was in Steve's book versus what's in Bucky's.
Yeah, what's in Bucky's book. It's oh my God. The more you peel this back, just the sadder.
Edit that out so I can say it and I can sound smart.
I know. I finally get a good smart moment on this goddamn show. I'm keeping that one in. I feel so bad for Bucky and the struggle that he's going through. And then let's not forget, we've got this whole what do they call themselves? Globe crushers, flag smashers. Jesus Christ. I love how he goes, what, bad guys are giving themselves bad names now? Yeah, good on you. So that part is it's still a mystery, but I think if you watch the end credits, you still see the Baron Zemo mask and you can start to see some of the stuff that they're laying down for this. I'm kind of curious about this because the fight that he had, that guy looked like a super, right? He looked like
who was the badass, Brian? Who was that?
I don't know yet. Okay. There is a character called Flag Smasher. So I don't know if that's going to be him or if they're just using his name for the organization instead of like a person. I know this isn't really a show that lends itself to a bunch of theories, right? But I do have an idea. I have a feeling. Yeah.
Do you mind if I say one thing before you do a theory?
Please do.
I also, one other thing that I liked about the show and I thought was interesting again was the way in which they're talking about the blip, right? Where Sam comes home and these kids that were just tiny children are now, he called them what, like tiny men or what do you call him? He basically brought the fact that he missed 5 years of their life, right?
Mm-hmm. Now they're little men.
Little men. And then these flag smashers, again, awful name, they like the perception of the world that was there when it was, let's face it, chaos and almost no government in place and borders were, crazy, and they want to bring that back. It's more consequences of this blip, of this Thanos effect, without necessarily talking about Thanos, right? And the big bad, but like what happened to the world.
And WandaVision touched on that too. Yeah, and I think as we move forward into this phase, you're going to see more and more lines divided across people who were blipped and people who were not blipped. Like, even Hayward says in WandaVision, it's like, oh, you guys have the luxury. You didn't have to last these past 5 years. You just get to think that everything is fine and can go back to the way it was.
And in the bank scene, she's like, it's hard to have income when you don't exist for 5 years, right? So even the people that were blipped didn't, they're coming back to a different world and a different reality. So I do like the fact that they were leaning into that.
Yeah, a lot of the non-super heroic ramifications of that is really cool to explore, right? And I think, because I'm thinking down the line and I'm thinking how Baron Zemo is going to fit into all of this, and I think of just how smart he was in Civil War, and he was just a guy who wanted to break apart the team. He wanted to sow chaos, right? So I think, I mean, I don't know if he's going to be head of the Flag Smashers, but I also think our new Captain America might have been placed there by Zemo. I think we're going to have a little bit of a Thunderbolts type thing where Zemo is starting to put special people with special powers in positions of power to manipulate the government to whatever end. Maybe just to sow chaos, who knows? I don't know what his plan is, because his whole motivation in the Civil War was, I want the Avengers to feel the pain that I felt when I lost my family.
Right.
So I don't know what his motivation is anymore. And that's a little interesting, a little scary, because man who's just going to do shit.
Right.
You don't know what that guy's capable of.
Right. He was fine at the end of just getting the chaos and then dying, right? And having it be over. He didn't want world domination, right?
Yeah, he was planning on T'Challa. Yeah, he was planning on T'Challa killing him.
He didn't want world domination. He didn't want $7 million in unmarked bills. He just wanted to see some chaos, right? Which is an interesting concept for Marvel to have in the MCU, considering that it's obviously elsewhere in the comic book world. Now I was that your theory thing? Otherwise, I'll research.
Yeah, no, that's all I got, because that's all I have.
Yeah.
This show's not going to be riddled with theories. I'm not going to be texting you 6 paragraphs every Friday morning. Because the show seems like it made me not like straightforward, but it just seems like it's going to be a more linear type of story with just, standard spy stuff, subterfuge, things that you don't find out until later. That's fine, but it's not going to be like, oh, that one thing that one said because the mailman walked by? That might mean that 3 episodes from now, this person will show up. It's not going to be like that.
I really think it's interesting that Disney's done a very good job of us going, oh, I think this show will be this. And then it's like, okay, but let's add some emotional depth. Let's add some grief. Let's add some feelings. Let's add some stuff that doesn't just say this is a buddy cop movie. And now we will do buddy cop by the books, but they have superpowers. Right. Just like they're just like, hey, we're going to play with sitcoms, but it's sitcoms talking about the agony of grief and the human experience of going through all of that. So they're doing a great job of really just kind of layering some things in there and not just taking the first formula that fits and wedging stuff in there, but really kind of making a cohesive story and really making something compelling. It's good work.
Well,
and Feige we trust.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but, also they're done trying to prove that this is viable. Like,
well, this was supposed to come out first. This was supposed to be before WandaVision and everything.
Let me finish.
Sorry.
They're done trying to prove the fact that the superhero movie is not for kids. They spent 10 years kind of poking fun at themselves, taking some things really seriously. And then, so they spent the first half of that 10 years, like, kind of doing that. Then they spent the last half of that 10 years going big and over the top and be like, okay, now we got you. So now we're going to just show you, hey, comic booky, right? And we all loved it. Don't get me wrong, right? But like, you missed some of the nuance when you do that. Now we get to be like, hey, we can do it all. We get to do these giant comic, just like actual freaking comic books. Go figure, right? We get to tell these giant over the top stories, but at the core of it is something really human. And that's what Marvel in general, not as a movie studio, as a comic book company, has always been really good at. Is, hey, we're going to tell the story of the Fantastic Four. It's over the top. They're going to fight a giant mole monster that comes out from under the street. But you know what's at the core of it? It's a story about family. It's a story about brothers, sisters, and the relationship between those people. And I love the fact that we're seeing more of that. Like, I loved the first 22 movies, but some of the nuances and some of the depth gets lost when you're doing a 3.5 hour, 60 movie star CGI epic. And now with these shows, I get to get the nuance again. And then boom, a movie's going to come along and then I get to have the big spectacle. It's going to be great. Brand new day. Now I'm done.
Josh, closing thoughts?
Can't wait for more. Obviously the excitement does build when it's a weekly thing, not all dropped at once, but I want more.
It's just like when the episode ended and my wife goes, "That's it? That's all I'm getting? That's it?" And I'm just like, yeah, we're back to this again, of week after week of, oh, come on, you son of a bitch. Again, the credits are about an extra 7 minutes, which, all right, fine. I'll deal with it.
Because they have to go through the credits for 18 different studios and countries and stuff.
And that's when I was like, they didn't name the person who is Captain America, but in the credits it did say John Walker, which I know is canon for U.S. Agent, because I still have those Marvel trading cards on my house, and I remembered that one because it was weird looking, and I read it and I learned something and I was interested. So I was like, oh, cool. We're actually we're doing this. All right, let's see how this plays out. So very excited for the next week and more episodes of this. And then I don't think on this show we're going to go week by week on this. We'll probably
we'll talk about it again when it's all wrapped up, probably.
Yeah. So don't expect that. But if you want our comments on it, you can always hit us up on social media, and we can always give you.
I will ignore you.
Brian will ignore you, but I will get Brian's response and then send it to you. So we can do that.
as is tradition.
That is tradition. Well, listener, thank you so much for making us your walk around your neighborhood, your drive to work, or whatever it is that we are in your life. The next time the three of us sit down and talk to each other, we will be talking about Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League on HBO Max in all its square glory. So stay tuned for the next episode, and we will talk to you then.
Well, welcome to the club, because you are that kind of nerd.
So again, more proof that you should follow us on social medias. So that way,
because then you see CJ's face.
I know. Well, yeah. I mean, do you want to see Brian's?
Oh, my face is. What we can do with our social media.
Go ahead.
We can do one of two things. We can do 60 minutes, right?
Yep.
Shrouded in Darkness.
Sure.
Or we make little cartoon pixies of ourselves.
I've looked into the cartoon avatars thing, and then I had to get an Adobe. I had to get an Adobe license, which is a monthly subscription, and I don't.
So does Flash work with that? Because it did not work in the Snyder Cut.
All right, I'm going to save that, and I'm going to re-intro this.
I don't like how you have to re-edit around my humor. I don't appreciate it. I feel like you should leave it all in the way it is.
Yours is so good.
Instead of editing things around.
It's so good, Brian, that people need to stay for the end to hear it. It's so good. They should listen all the way through.
Yeah, go ahead and feed that ego, CJ. That's a good idea.
It's also the first 45 seconds of the show, and we're already off the rails. So
we're 3 minutes in.
Yeah, but
And I've done a splendid job so far. This is going swimmingly.
It's going great.
I'm glad. I should not know what we're talking about more often.
Yeah, that really proves the numbers.
Proves the numbers. So what the fuck does that even mean?
No, I'm trying to load up topic.
Proving?
Well, isn't it called a proof in mathematics when you do stuff? Isn't it called a proof?
I don't know. It depends. I guess
there was a movie with Gwyneth Paltrow about it, right? I think I'm right.
With Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yeah, called Proof. Based off a play.
Proof.
Oh, Proof.
Yeah,
I have seen Proof.
Yeah, it's based.
I haven't seen it. I know of it.
Yeah, I had to read the play.
I'm not about math movies. Anyway,
so
what's our first topic, CJ?
Hold on. I'm also but because we did not watch.
Oh, so boring.
Because I did not watch the Snyder Cut.
So much.
I wanted to make it up
this
to
is
you,
like the Snyder
and we
Cut.
will be talking about the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier tonight.
Zombies are not in the pole position in Josh's life.
They are not.
What's the last position? What's the worst pole position?
It's not.
What's the term for that?
You can't say worst pole position.
Is it flat position?
It wouldn't be the pole position.
But the pole position, what's the pole? Where is this pole? And why is everybody trying to get in position with it?
if you were racing, it would be the most favorable spot.
So zombies, not in the pole position. But what is the least favorable spot? Like, not the pole, but like maybe the mat.
Oh my God.
I just want to get it out of our system, so we'll just...
it will never be out of my system. You want to talk Army of the Dead?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, what would you like to talk about? I'm going to go freaking Google pole position. Private browsing on... The whole world?
Yeah, everyone's watching.
You have that in the sound file.
It's just nice. It's just, just nice to...
Yeah, it's nice to do it. Yeah,
it's nice to do it every once in a while. Come on.
All right.
I don't want to feel like we're phoning it in anymore, Brian. Like,
how dare you
I just
ever insinuate that I'm phoning it in?
You know what I think? I think you've lost that love and feeling.
Listen, man, all this pole position talk you don't get if I'm phoning it in.
You never close your eyes. I'm not going to finish the rest of the lyric because it's just weird.
Thank you.
Well, now that you don't... Anyway. So I'd love to get some first impressions. A lot... not a lot happened, but some really good storytelling. Getting its good foundation here. What did you guys think of the first episode?
What the hell was that sentence?
I was going to say...
getting its good foundation.
The foundation's real good. It's real strong. It's a strong foundation that's getting good.
You know what? No, hold on. No, hold on. All right, cool. I sucked at that. You two, one of you pick on the spot. Intro this up. I'd love to hear what you got. Go ahead. I'll wait.
Josh, I would love to hear your thoughts on the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Because in my opinion...
you're going to take it from the very top. We just did Cape Talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just, in your little voice, went, Cape Talk.
All right.
Carry it from there.
Hey, Josh, I'd love to get your opinion on Falcon and Winter Soldier, because the first episode dropped, what was it, today?
Yeah, it sure was.
And you know what? It had a very strong foundation building there, didn't it now?
Didn't it once?
Didn't it do that one time with that good thing? She's a big beauty. A big beauty fish.
All right. Now, Josh, when you're done... getting your shit. Holy God. When you find it, as I don't know where you put it.
It's over at the neighbor's house. Okay. It has fucked directly off.
You may want to DoorDash it to your house. Brian just went, Cave Talk. Let me hear it. Let me hear what.
Oh, we're going to test Josh? I thought I did a completely fine job.
You did a very fine job.
I thought my intro had a good, strong foundation moving into it.
Go ahead. Let's see what you got.
In the world of Cape Talk, we had a huge premiere today. We had Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which dropped on Disney Plus, and I think we should talk about it.
I think that was perfect. You didn't fit the word foundation in.
I'm sorry. I'm going to dock points for no foundation.
Why would I use the word foundation?
Show was not founded in
it's not even the foundation for Marvel Disney Plus shows. That was WandaVision. Like, it's not. There's nothing. It has nothing to do with the foundation
of the entire series.
It is. It is the
your intro did not really demonstrate the good foundation of the strong
the masonry work that was done to keep Falcon and the Winter Soldier sturdy and protected.
I truly think you're just trying to build. You know what? You're trying to build that Ant-Man house on a sand with no foundation. Just shift all over the place.
There's a big bad wolf gonna blow my house in.
Goddamn! And there's no plumbing. I don't know what they're thinking.
Oh my God!
Him with no sewer work.
Anyway,
well, we're gonna use. I think we're gonna
Falcon
use Brian's.
Winter Soldier.
I think we're gonna use Brian's. So,
Falcon and Winter Soldier. Good.
We should use all of them.
We just keep them all in.
Put it all in. Keep it all in.
Here's what we do. We change it every.
Your problem is
you
edit the show.
Every other day, we just swap in a different one. So depending on when you download the episode,
make people think they're taking crazy pills.
Or can we make it so it's like Clue? Like, you know, every person gets a different version of the episode, right?
Right.
Like, and then like when they talk to each other, be like, hey, that was odd. Brian introduced the Falcon and Winter Soldier bit. And they're like, no, he didn't. Josh introduced it.
Right.
And CJ and the Cape Talk with the good getting.
The good gettings and the gots and the foundations and the glaven.
In the hoiven.
Righty. But
I see in these notes F and WS. That means Falcon and Winter Soldier, right? Or does that mean Fenris and Wally Shorebucks.
That's what it means.
Give you a C- on that because you've had more clever names with Benedict Slappyback than you did with that. I know your creativity is better than that, Brian.
I'm Joshua. I actually committed to watching a mediocre movie. I don't know what you're doing, but I am a little slow on the uptake.
Joshua, you were asked your first impression.